SBA Disaster Loan. Believe it or not, the SBA Disaster Loan program predates this pandemic by decades. It was created many years ago for disasters, typically floods, hurricanes, earthquakes. But what they did in the first stimulus package is they created this new disaster loan program in order to make it available to just about any business in the country. Now, one thing about this is a federal loan administered by the SBA. It is not forgivable. You do have to pay it back. However, it's a great loan, and what I would say is a great resource for businesses looking to have capital to not only survive, but grow. Now, the max loan amount is $500,000, and this was just recently increased at the end of March to that amount where it was previously only $150,000. The terms have stayed the same from the beginning. It's a 30-year term, and the interest rate on that is 3.75% for businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits. Now, what's great about the program is you'll get the funds, but you don't have to start paying it back right away. Your first payment is deferred 18 months. So they just recently changed that from 12 months. So now if you're getting a loan in April of 2021, your first payment is not due until October of 2022. So that gives you plenty of time to help your business grow to where you can afford paying back this loan. Now, typically this process takes 30 to 60 days. And I can tell you that the SBA has continued to get better and better with that. But our program, which we created at the beginning of last year to help businesses with this, we've been able to speed that process up significantly. And we've also helped businesses access close to $300 million in funds through this program. And we continue to help businesses either through increasing the amount of the loan that they're available for, or necessarily if they run into a problem with the SBA, helping them maneuver through that process to get their companies funded. Now, one thing is they do have this targeted idle advance, and it's up to $10,000. The eligibility is somewhat difficult. You have to be in what's considered a socioeconomic disadvantaged location, and you also have to demonstrate a 30% loss in your gross receipts. Now, when it comes to what can you use this money for, it's very broad. You can use it for working capital, you can use it for payroll, you can use it for business expenses, you can use it for growth. So it is broad. It's a great tool to augment the other federal programs to ensure that your company has all the cash available to make it through this year. And not only that, but be there here next year and the year after that, and hopefully for many years to come. So what are the eligibility requirements for the disaster loan program? Well, first of all, you have to have 1,000 or fewer full-time employees. You have to be located in and primarily operate in the United States. You have to be in business prior to March 11th of last year. And you can't be one of the identified ineligible businesses. And we have a list of those that we make sure we review with all of our clients as part of our Stimulus Resource Center, but they mainly include casinos, gambling institutions, pawn shops, so on and so forth. Now, there is one thing, is that if you go above a loan amount of $200,000, the SBA does require a personal guarantee. So we work with our clients to see how important that is to them, to review how much they actually should borrow instead of possibly the full $500,000, and really what fits best for their needs in addition to the other programs that we're using. That's why we look at it through a holistic approach, not an individual approach. You've got to look at these programs combined to make sure they make the most sense for your business. Looking at them as a one-off or in a silo is not the best thing to do for the longevity and successfulness of your business. Now, one thing about this disaster loan is that sole proprietors and independent contractors are eligible. If you do not have payroll, that eliminates the PPP. It eliminates the ERTC. But this program, you still have access to, and it could be significant money to help your business. So just briefly, what documents are required in order to secure a disaster loan through the SBA? Well, you'll need to provide a personal credit score, and there are some credit score requirements. So it becomes more difficult if you're under a 600 credit score in order to secure a disaster loan. You do have to provide a personal financial statement, and that's whether or not you take out a personal guarantee. You have to provide your 2 most recent personal tax returns. Excuse me. You know, in these webinars, you're talking so much, you know, your voice starts to crack a little bit, so it's always good to hydrate properly. And so as I continue on here, just to recap, the documents required for this include providing your personal credit score, and if you're under a 600 credit score, you may have to provide additional information as to why. You're going to need to provide a personal financial statement, regardless of whether or not you take out a personal guarantee. You have to provide the 2 most recent personal tax returns and business tax returns. And if you have not filed your business tax returns for 2020, you will need to provide a profit and loss statement for that year. Now, IRS Form 4506T basically allows the SBA to pull your tax transcripts from the IRS. You'll need to fill out one of those for both you personally and the business. And when I'm talking about the personal aspects for this, it's any business owner that owns 20% or more of the business. And lastly, there's a number of SBA application forms that are required as part of your process. The beauty about our program is that we've done a ton of these. We know exactly what's required and when, and we're able to walk you through every step of the process to make sure that your application's filled out correctly the first time, which means that you get your funds faster.